All SCP art... Hi! I'm sure if you spent like a decent amount of time online, you've eventually, over time, at one point or another, heard the terms SCP, or SCP Foundation, and possibly just didn't decide to look into it, see what it was. Well, today I'm going to be trying to give you a brief, as much as possible, description of the SCP Foundation and what it entails. The SCP Foundation is a large collection of short stories on the internet written by absolutely anyone. Anybody can submit an SCP article and have it added to the collection. All you have to do is follow a specific set of style guidelines. Each unique short story is classified by the letters S, C, P, dash, and then a number after it. SCP stands for Special Containment Procedures, and each article describes the anomaly and how the Foundation is containing it. Most SCPs generally fall into the horror or cosmic horror genre, although some just tend to be a little weird. All SCP articles center on people, places, objects, creatures, or ideas that break the laws of reality as we know them. SCPs can range from a box that says rude things to people, to universe-ending apocalypses, to an IKEA that is infinitely large inside and nearly impossible to escape from once you enter. Some incredibly creative writing stems from this community, and I absolutely love it. Now, in-universe, the SCP Foundation is a worldwide collection of people employed by every major national government, whose sole purpose is to secure anomalies as they appear in the world, contain those anomalies however possible, in order to protect humanity. To read from their website, mankind in its present state has been around for 250,000 years, yet only a small fraction of that have been of any significance. So what did we do for nearly 25,000 years? We huddled in caves and around small fires, fearful of the things that we didn't understand. It was more than explaining why the sun came up. It was the mystery of enormous birds with heads of men, and rocks that came to life. So we called them gods and demons, begged them to spare us, and prayed for salvation. In time, their numbers dwindled and ours rose. The world began to make more sense when there were fewer things to fear. Yet the unexplained can never truly go away, as if the universe demands the absurd and impossible. Mankind must not go back to hiding in fear. No one else will protect us, and we must stand up for ourselves. While the rest of mankind dwells in the light, we must stand in the darkness to fight it, contain it, and shield it from the eyes of the public so that others may live in a sane and normal world. We secure, we contain, we protect. The Administrator. So, yeah, to say it's a cool concept is kind of an understatement, and I'm really looking forward to going over the SCPs on this channel. I also have other kinds of content planned as well, not just SCP stuff, but I really do want a main series on this channel to be just kind of an in-depth look at each individual SCP. Well, I say each, but there are like 6,000 or 7,000 of them. That's a lot. I don't know if I'll ever make a video on every single one of them, but I can certainly try. Some of them are shorter than others, so they won't be crazy to get through. So if this kind of content holds interest to you, I would absolutely love it if you stuck around by subscribing and also hitting the bell button so that you're notified of any future uploads. Thank you for watching this, and I do hope you all have a lovely day. Each unique short story is classified by the letters S, C, P, dash, and then a number after it. SCP. Most SCPs generally fall into the horror or cosmic horror genres. Genres? It's the genres. Most SCPs generally fall into the horror or cosmic horror genres. Why can't I say the word genres? All SCPs center on people, objects, places, creatures. All SCP are... Now, in-universe, the SCP Foundation is a worldwide collection of workers whose sole goal is to boo 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 boo. That is their sole goal. They gotta go. They doing the boo boo boo. Now, in-universe, the SCP Foundation is a worldwide collection of fellas who get stuff done.